Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's episode is another beer and gear video, and today we're going over scent control. Go ahead and cue the intro now. Welcome back, everybody. In today's episode, beer and gear, we're going over scent control. I apologize for not putting out one of these videos in a while. Deer season was about to kick off. I've been super busy trying to do some last minute stuff at the farm, and season kicked off on October 4th, and since then I've been in the woods trying to bag that first deer for the season. Haven't made it happen. I've definitely seen some deer, but they've either been too far off or too much in the brush, so that's the joys of hunting with a bow. But anyways, let's get into today's video. Before we do that, I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking. Today, I am drinking Devil's Backbone O-Fest, which if you have not watched the video, it'll be linked right here. There's a video where we went to Devil's Backbone Brewery in Virginia, up in the mountains, and we actually went there and tasted some of the different beers they make, and they had one. It was called O-Fest. It's like a seasonal beer for Oktoberfest month, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. So I was at the store the other day, and I was like, I don't really have any beer. Do I want to get some? I was trying to decide. Well, anyways, I found the O-Fest beer, and got this stuff, picked up a 12-pack of it, so that's what I'm drinking today, Devil's Backbone O-Fest. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend it, especially if you live in Virginia and you're not too far from Charlottesville, that general area. It's somewhere up in there. You can go and try it out. But alright, let's get into today's video. So for scent control, I've been doing a couple things this year. I've tried a couple new things, and then I've been using some stuff that I've used before. Some stuff I've used before is this Wildlife Research Center supercharged scent killer. It's supposed to be 99% scent killing or whatever, and it lasts for 10 days after drying. I don't typically, what I do is at the beginning of the season, right before it starts, I'll spray everything down and I'll coat it really good in this stuff. And then afterwards, whenever I go in the woods, I'll just lightly spray down, so I'm just coating this stuff. Because typically, if I'm going to hunt a few days in a row, then, I keep the same clothes. I don't wash them or anything like that until I'm done hunting and I have a break, and then I'll wash them. So then I have to respray this stuff down on it. So, so anyways, I typically just lightly spray myself down in the mornings before I walk in. I spray my boots the night before, and then I spray them in the morning as well. This stuff really works well. I actually grew up using this stuff. They used to have one that was acorn scented, and never had any issues with deer busting me because of smell or anything. And it's always worked well. Like I said, my dad had it for us kids and for himself when we were young, and we always used this stuff. We always used the acorn one, and then when they quit making that one, because it was considered a lure, a scent lure or whatever, we started using the fresh earth one. Well, recently they quit making the fresh earth, and now they just use an unscented one, which is just, I don't really know what it's supposed to smell like, but anyways, it's odorless formula. Anyways, this stuff works great. I've had really good success with it. I've had very few deer bust me with that. So that's always been a tried and true. So that's what I spray on my clothes. One thing I picked up this year, I've never tried this stuff. So last year, I tried this brand for the spray on my clothes. This is Dead Downwind. And this is their soft, solid, unscented antiperspirant deodorant, long-lasting odor control. I tried the Dead Downwind clothes spray last year, and I honestly wasn't super impressed with it. I felt like I had more deer bust me with this stuff than I've ever had with the Wildlife um, Research Center. So that's why I ended up going back to this stuff. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it. But I saw this deodorant, and I was like, you know what? I've never tried deodorant, never tried body wash. Like some guys I know, they're all into like they use like dirt or acorn scented body wash or non scented body wash, all this stuff, and like they're super into the scent control. And I didn't grow up doing that. Like we never grew up checking the wind before we went hunting. We never grew up, doing all the crazy prep for scent control. All we did was spray ourselves down before we went in the woods, and that was it. And we just went and hunted the spot we always hunted. And we always killed deer. Every year I could tell you down to the minute that the deer were going to come through, and we always killed deer. It didn't matter if the wind was coming down the hill, up the hill, side, whatever. Like, it just didn't matter. So it wasn't until I got into bow hunting where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll actually look into this scent control stuff. It seems to be a pretty big deal, and I really honestly haven't noticed anything different. I feel like I get busted about the same amount of time as before I started worrying about scent control when I was like a kid and stuff. But anyways, I found this at Walmart. I was at Walmart picking up this stuff for my clothes, and I saw this. I said, you know what, let me give it a try. So I got it, opened in the morning, I put it on, I put it in my pits, I put a little on my chest, because typically those are like my two biggest sweat areas, is my chest and my pits, and I hunted all day with it, lots of sweating. It was really hot opening day. I think the high was like 78, something like that, 78, 80, something like that, so it was pretty hot opening day, so I did a lot of sweating, and moving around. Like we hunted from before daylight all the way about 2 o'clock in one spot down the woods, and then we got out, slowly worked our way over to a spot in the fields and set up there and hunted the evening over an old peanut field that they had just turned up all the peanuts. So it seemed like it was going to be a good hunt, and we did see some deer, just couldn't get a shot on them. But anyways, I got home that night, and my wife was like, she's been with me for almost 4 years now, and she knows that typically after a long day of hunting, I smell really bad. And she's like, man, you don't stink. You don't smell at all. You just you have no odor. And I was like, really? So I smelled my clothes and stuff, and I was like, man, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I smelled my hat. And my hat definitely smelled, from where my hair was sweating and everything. So I was like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. So the next time I went hunting, which was actually yesterday, October 7th, I put this stuff on again, went hunting, came back, same thing. My wife, I'm like, honey, smell me. Like, do I smell? Because I know I was sweating a lot more. Like, yesterday it was even hotter. I think the high was like 82 or something. So, and I only hunted until 2 o'clock, and I was like, nah, I can't stand this anymore. This heat's killing me. So I ended up, leaving, but my wife smelled me. She's like, no, you smell great. You don't smell like you're sweating or anything. And I was like, man, this stuff is it's working. Like, for once in my life, I found something that actually works. Like this, no odor. Like, my clothes don't smell. I don't smell. Stuff's working pretty good so far. So I was pretty happy with this. And as proof, I was hunting yesterday, and it was probably about 20 minutes before daylight, legal shooting. And I heard something back behind me, and I sort of turned around in the saddle, and I looked, and I could just barely make out where the moon was hitting the back of a deer, and it was glinting off the hair, and I could make out a silhouette-ish of the back part of a deer, and it worked its way all the way in the wood line back behind me, and the wind was blowing south. It was a south wind, which was blowing it would have been from my right to left, and that deer came in from my left. Now, my theory is if I was stinking and, if a deer winded me, that deer wouldn't have come in. That deer got within 10 yards of me in the wood line. Like I couldn't see it very well, but I could hear it, and it was almost directly under my tree, eating on acorns and stuff. And that deer never once smelled me, nothing. It moseyed around there for probably 10-15 minutes, and it turned around and went off in the woods right before daylight. So I really truly believe this stuff works. I mean, I don't know, maybe the deer just don't care there, but it just seems like the stuff works so far. So some other things I've been doing for scent control, and I did this opening day, and I'll put like a little bloop of a video right here. I have a box, I have a tote, and that tote has acorns and oak leaves and oak branches and different stuff, and I've just thrown a bunch of it in there, and I throw my clothes in there with that, and I seal it up, and I don't open it, I leave it shut or whatever until I'm ready to use the clothes, and then I take them out the night before, or the morning of, really, and then I'll put them on. So I think that that's something new that I've never tried before. It's something a coworker of mine had said he did, and I was like, man, it's a pretty good idea. And he's like, yeah, depending on what environment I'm hunting. If I'm hunting pines, I'll take pine needles, pine branch stuff, and do it. If I'm hunting oaks, then I'll put the oaks and everything. And I was like, man, that's not a bad idea. So I did that. I don't know if it really did anything. I didn't notice any different. I didn't feel like my clothes smelt more like oaks or anything like that. But I mean, I did it. I didn't feel it. I never got winded. I haven't been winded so far that I know of. I haven't spooked any deer or anything. So that's been pretty nice, and it seems like it's working. But anyways, that's what I've been doing for scent control. If there's anything that you do that maybe you think is, hey, this is a good idea or something, please leave a comment. Let me know. I'm always looking for new things. I'm pretty new to like the whole scent control. I've honestly just found if I try to play the wind in my advantage, then it works well for me. But anyways, that's about all I got for today's video. Not super long. Just a couple things I've been doing for scent control. I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you get something out of it. This product at Walmart is like $12 with a refill bottle, a 32-ounce refill bottle, and then this deodorant's like $7. So not too terribly expensive. You probably get off Amazon maybe a little cheaper. I know that they sell like 60. It's either a 40 or a 60-ounce refill bottle. It's like a jug, like a 1 gallon jug or something like that, on Amazon with a spray bottle. It's like $40 some. The only reason I picked this up was because I was like, it's right here, it's in front of me, it's only $12, it wasn't gonna break the bank. But eventually I'll probably buy the $40 some one off Amazon, so I have a little bit more, because I've already refilled this once. But anyways, but yeah, that's about all I got for y'all. Y'all be safe out there. Enjoy your hunts. Get out there. Get in the wild. Do some hunting. Try to get some deer. I wish y'all all the best of luck. And we will see y'all around. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon. It helps support the channel. I appreciate it. We are at 91 followers. I'm hoping to hit 100 followers by the end of hunting season. So if you're not following, please help us out, and we will see y'all on the next video. Cheers. Have a good one. What's up, everybody? Today's video is another beer and gear video, and today we're going to be talking about scent control.